I thought we were talking about urinating, but we weren't talking about that at all. We were talking about, I don't even remember what it was, meditating or like something else like that. And I was just looking at them like, guys, why are we talking about this? We're at lunch. This is not what we want to be discussing right now. Well, our one favorite tool that we have is sort of the way that you can improve any listening situation, and we call it HEAR. And so it has 4 steps that you can go through in any kind of challenging listening situation. So the first is, H is, can you hear the person that you're talking to? And if you can, then you're great. But if you can't, you've got to take that next step, which is to evaluate. And that's where you ask yourself, what can I change in this situation? So it could be environmental things like maybe you need more light, maybe you need a quieter space within the restaurant or something like that. Or it could be things with your communication partner. So maybe they need to speak a little louder or a little bit slower or something like that. And that's a good chance to look at your tech tools as well to see if an app might help. And then the next step is the hardest, because that's where you have to articulate. And I think that's really the biggest hump sometimes for people with hearing loss to get over, is to say, I am going to let people know about my needs and ask them to do something so that we can communicate better. And I think we have to keep in mind that asking someone to change their behavior for better communication is not a selfish thing. It's actually a beneficial thing for both sides of that communication. So we're trying to talk. You want to hear what I'm saying and understand what I'm saying just as much as I want to for you. And so if I can let you know what I need from you in order to make that happen, both of us win. And then that last part is to revise and remind. So a lot of times the situational change that you're in, maybe a musician arrives, maybe the lights get dimmer, maybe the person forgets that you asked them to speak a little bit louder or a little bit slower. So you just go kind of back through the steps, even if it's just to ask the people to do what you had already agreed to do, and just to remind everybody in a friendly way. It's hard, it takes practice. I always say just practice on strangers first. So it feels, it feels like you should be able to practice on your friends or your family first. And I like to practice on strangers because the stakes are lower. Who cares? You're never going to see this person again. So, if you have a seatmate on the bus or a seatmate on the airplane, hi, I'm Shari, and I have a hearing loss, so I might miss an important announcement from the pilot. So if there's something I need to know, please tap me on the shoulder and let me know. Almost always the person will react very positively to that. And I always say you have to get kind of like your hearing loss script down. So how do you introduce yourself? How do you self-identify in a friendly way so that you can get people on your team, right?
Do you mind me asking how you guys landed on Here and Beyond? Because I just was like, dang, was that pun intended? It's so good.
Yes, it was. It really has that message of going beyond hearing, right? Because one of the main messages is that it's not just about hearing, it's about communicating. And when we changed our mindset, that we wanted to be better communicators rather than just hearing better, that really changed our life for the better. And then the second part of the title, Living Skillfully with Hearing Loss. So skillfully was also a really important word, because a skill is something that you can learn, right? It's something you could practice, it's something you can get better at, and it's something you can be taught. So we wanted to have people understand right from the name that there were going to be some major takeaways and skills that they would walk away with.
Truly, when I read the book, I was like, everyone needs to read this. It's not an operating manual only for those with hearing loss. Everyone wants to communicate better, and so this is truly for everyone.
Oh, I love hearing that. Thank you, because that's really our goal. Our goal is to just try and make life easier and more fun and more communication rich, right, for everybody with hearing loss and everybody that we're talking to as well. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Shari.
Yeah. All right, happy to.
Excellent. Excellent.